Trying to even up this series. He did not have a great game once, just 16 points. First game this postseason that he failed to score 20 points or record a double-double. But right now there are other things in the top of the minds of the Sixers in regards to Joel Embiid. Dave McMenamin joins us live from Toronto, where Sixers head coach Brett Brown just spoke moments ago. And Dave, we had the knee with Joel, and now there's other issues, correct?
Yeah, I mean, obviously his knee issue has been something that the team has been managing for months now. He missed 14 of the team's 24 games after the All-Star break. This morning, he missed shoot-around with gastroenteritis, a stomach issue. Brett Brown was clear that it's only the stomach that could keep him out of tonight's game, not the knee. And he remains a game-time decision. And some people could say, oh, maybe they're just trying to play some parlor games here, some obfuscation on purpose. But the Sixers have made a tactical move in case Embiid can't play. Amir Johnson, another big man, has been added to the active roster to give them an option beyond just Boban Marjanovic and, of course, Greg Monroe, in case Embiid can't play.
So game time, but that would certainly be a big hit for the Sixers if he cannot. David McMenamin with the latest from Toronto. Thank you. As the Raptors, by the way, look to take a 2-0 series lead for just the second time in their franchise history in any playoff series. But Embiid, the numbers again in game one, not great. Just 16 points, 5 of 18 shooting, but make no mistake about it, he did have positive impact still. Sixers were +4 with him on the court Saturday, but were outscored by 17 points in the 18 minutes in which he did not play.
They don't wanna see me ballin', ballin'. They don't wanna see me. Lillard, long-range three.
There's been a lot of talk and all this stuff, and that was the last word.
They says it all. It's a bad shot if you're human. It's a bad shot for nearly everyone in the NBA, too. In this postseason, shots from 30 feet and deeper have gone in at a 16% rate. And then there's Dame time. This postseason, his rate is 66% on 12 shots from 30 feet or more, including that famous 37-footer in Game 5. As Mark Schwartz reports, Logo Lillard's long-range success is no accident.
Lillard, a chance to send the Thunder home. Lillard, long-range three.
That's a bad shot. Care what anybody says, that's a bad shot. But, hey, he made it.
I understand where Paul George coming from because it's bad shot, really bad shot for everybody else, but not for Dame.
How do you define now what is a good shot for Damian Lillard?
When you walk into the gym, I think it's a good shot. You know, you got the ultimate green light, you got the ultimate preparation, the ultimate confidence. A lot of times I'll tell him, like, toe the line, like, get closer. Like, your percentage raises as you get closer to the line. And he'll say, sometimes I can't tell how far I am until it's too late. You know what I mean? Until he shoots it.
Damian Lillard says he's always been able to shoot from distance. But after being ensnared in Pelicans' traps and getting swept by 6th-seeded New Orleans last year, Lillard went back to the lab with one goal in mind: to become lethal from 30 feet and beyond.
It was just about trying to make it more difficult to defend me. I know that I got the quickness and the ability to get around people, but if I could pull them out further by, not just being able to shoot the ball from there, but being a good shooter from there, I could pull the defense out further and make it harder for teams to guard me that way.
Had Paul George been a witness to the countless hours Lillard spends here at the Blazers practice facility working at extending his range, George may have had a different opinion.
For somebody that is not present when that work is being done, they might view it that way, but to the people around here who see me practice this and work on it all the time, day in and day out, and then they raise your confidence, and I think confidence is a huge part of it. I've done it so much that it's a comfortable shot, so in transition, it's available. Off pick and rolls, it's available. In ISO situations, it's available. In the quarter, it's available.
End-game situation, guarded by Paul George. 37 feet from the hoop with the buzzer about to sound. Who do you take in that situation? Damian Lillard or Steph Curry?
I know that Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. I don't have too much pride to admit that, but in that situation, I'm going to take myself 100% of the time.
I love that answer from Lillard.
Yeah.
We all know about Dame, but what else can we look forward to in this Blazers-Nuggets series? Portland center Enes Kanter officially questionable for Game 1, separated left shoulder. He sustained in Game 5 against the Thunder. He had 13 points and 13 boards that night despite the injury. Denver was carried in the first round by their own center, Nikola Jokic, becoming the first player with a Game 7 triple-dub since LeBron back in the 2016 Finals. How about averaging a cool 25, 9, and 8 in 3 games against Portland this season? And while the Blazers might be better rested, Vegas has the Nuggets favored to win this series. Our own BPI agrees, giving Denver a 55% chance to advance to the Western Conference Finals. Sage?
Coming up, just
The Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets, the series that many have been hoping for and waiting for. Harden to the basket, lays it up, and banks it home with a foul. Curry crossover, three-pointer. Ball stolen. Paul knocked it away. Harden steps back, puts up a three. Won't go. Harden was out of bounds when he had it. Ball's just been thrown out of the game. A pulsating win for Golden State here in Game 1.
whether you're a Rockets fan, a Warriors fan, or maybe just an NBA fan in general, what you just saw and what you see on either side of me here makes it nearly impossible not to be pumped up for this series, this rematch of last season's Western Conference Finals. But think about it. It's been almost a year since that series went the distance, only to see the Rockets fall just short, with Chris Paul only able to watch from the sideline. So maybe Houston does have reason to be frustrated after last night's officiating controversy. But the key is, what do they do with that frustration? Here's Shelley Smith.
Landing space, analytics, calls, non-calls, reports from last season, even a report from the last 2 minutes of Game 1. The Rockets and the Warriors by Monday have pretty much moved on.
Yesterday, I should have invited you guys. I had a great pity party. And, you know, it's by myself, and then nobody showed up but me. And I wallered in it. So now, you know what? Whether we won or lost, we're going to win game Tuesday.
You guys are going to ask about all that? I thought we were going to just talk about the game.
I don't have a reaction. No, no, for us now.
What are you going to do about it? Hopefully Game 2, it's about the game.
As for Chris Paul, he admitted that his reaction led to his ejection.
I definitely got to do better. I shouldn't have got those texts, you know what I mean, and put my team in that situation. But the game's always going to be emotional. If I'm not emotional, then I'm not me. But I definitely got to be better for my team. You show me somebody who like to lose, and I'll show you a loser.
The Rockets certainly weren't thinking about losing when they arrived here for practice on Monday. James Harden walked in singing, and Chris Paul was giving tutorials to his teammates on forcing the angles when guarding Steph Curry. And when Mike D'Antoni arrived, I asked him if he had taken a deep breath. 2, he said. It's back to business. In San Francisco, I'm Shelley Smith, ESPN.
Thank you, Shelley. Breaking news in concerning Chris Paul. He has been fined $35,000 for aggressively confronting and recklessly making contact with a game official. That's a quote. So if you're counting, Chris Paul now up to 3 technicals in the postseason. They've reset when the playoffs begin. He's got 3. Only allowed 6. If he gets 7, he is suspended for a game. So $35,000, Chris Paul fined after last night's Game 1. Tim Legler back, and once the tone is set as far as officiating is concerned, Tim, players have to adjust, right? So that said, how do you see this carrying over, if at all, to Game 2?
It's going to be something we're talking about each and every game in this series because it's such an enormous part of James Harden's game. He's counting on getting these calls. And I think some of those ones early in the game, there's no question, and this one here in particular with Klay Thompson, no question that that's a foul because of where Klay jumps, where he lands. There's body contact before James Harden even gets to the ground. But there are other times, and the one at the end of the game is a great example with Draymond Green, where his legs literally come forward in a 45-degree angle. There's nowhere for you to land. I mean, Draymond Green, for the most part, and that goes straight up and down.
Yeah.
James Harden's feet kick into him, and they probably cover a 3-foot distance. He's creating that contact with his feet into the defender. I thought that was a great non-call. Problem is, James Harden relies on it. A couple years ago, Sage, the Rockets got fouled shooting threes in the playoff series at Oklahoma City 13 times. They were 38 for 39 from the foul line. Do the math. In a 6-game series, that's 6 to 7 points a night.
Huge.
That's how important this is to James Harden, and even just in getting doubt in defenders' heads, how close they can come. It's a psychological thing, too. If he's not getting that call it's really going to be a problem for him. But I don't know how he adjusts. That's how he shoots.
That's how
his
he has,
feet come forward when he leans back. That's his natural shooting motion.
That's why Draymond's comment after the game last night saying, I've been fouled so many times by Harden when he is shooting the three. I mean, you understand why when you see the video a million times over. Also yesterday, the Celtics, they had a frustrating regular season, but since the playoffs have begun, and then they continued last night against the Bucks in Milwaukee, this is like a different team.
Yeah.
No more drama, it seems. What's been the biggest change?
For me, I just think it's the adrenaline, right, and the laser focus of the playoffs. The playoffs are here. Everything carries more weight, so therefore the Boston Celtics woke up. The smelling salts have been given out. These guys have great role definition. Part of it. The other part is they've got an all-star caliber player now playing like one. Gordon Hayward took an awful long time, and a lot longer than the Celtics would have liked, to get back to where mentally he's the same player that he was, because it was tough for him to play in traffic coming back from that ankle injury. He looks like a different guy. Sage, his size and ability to make plays off the dribble, because he's so big, and his ability to get the ball from one side of the floor to the other, find shooters, just get it to the next open guy, promotes ball movement to the right player. His IQ is so high. Now he's playing with a high level of confidence. You can't overstate the importance of Gordon Hayward's emergence on this team for a deep playoff run, potentially even one all the way to the NBA Finals. They certainly look good enough to make that kind of run in Game 1.
This is why they brought him in. And it's been awfully quiet. No drama, no talking from people like Kyrie. We'll see now if Giannis adjusts as well in Game 2. Thank you, Tim. Back to the NBA, Giannis and the Bucks find themselves in an 0-1 hold to Boston. One of the leading MVP candidates this season had his worst game of the season in Game 1. Terrible timing as Giannis shot just 7 of 21 from the floor. His plus-minus was -24, the worst of any player in a Game 1. So Game 2 tomorrow night, Giannis knows the pressure is on for him and his team at home against the Celtics.
I'm going to be me. I'm going to be Giannis. I'm going to try to be aggressive, try to make that play, and try to win games. That's all I can do. At the end of the day, for Game 1, I think effort-wise, the whole team, and especially start from the leader, it wasn't there. But that's the only thing you can control is your effort. So we're going to go out there and compete as hard as we can, put some effort and energy into it, and I don't promise you we're going to win the game, but I promise you we're going to play hard.
I guess some Bucks fans are concerned. He's like, I don't know if we're going to win. I mean, you don't want him to guarantee, do you? That'll jinx you, right? No. Okay, both Bucks and Kevin Sixers are down a game in their second-round series, but BPI much more optimistic about Milwaukee's chances. This is not me.
I watched Kawhi Leonard, that's why.
The Bucks are still slightly favored to advance to the conference finals. Philly, 17%. So which team, Michael Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser, is in a bigger hole? Your thoughts?
All right, Wilbon, which team is in the deeper hole after Game 1? Just Game 1 now. The Sixers or the Bucks?
Bucks, Tony. If for no other reason and you can't lose 2 at home and think you have any shot of going on the road to Toronto and winning that series. So they're already down 1 game at home. Antetokounmpo was literally snuffed out of Game 1 in parts of it. So Philly is not in nearly as bad a situation as Milwaukee. You knew they weren't going to necessarily win both games in Toronto. If they win 1 game in Toronto, they still have a chance to do that. Not dire at all. Milwaukee, dire. Must win Game 2 at home.
Yeah, so I'm going to disagree respectfully.
Why?
And I like Boston. I do. I like Boston. I think they have the most talent. I think they have the most offensive diversity of any team there. They can
How are you going to disagree?
Okay, because they have also been the most disappointing team in the East this year. With LeBron James out of the East, they appeared to be the best team. They didn't finish anywhere near with the best record. Milwaukee did. So I am not going to award this series to Boston yet. On the other side, Philadelphia talks like they've won something, but they haven't won anything.
Right.
And Kawhi Leonard is the best player on either team, and Kawhi Leonard has won something. So, I mean, I am leaning towards the team ultimately in the most trouble is the Sixers. That's just me.
Don't you think Boston's a better team anyway than Milwaukee, and now they've gone out and stolen one on the road?
I do, but they have been mercurial all season. Just when you think they've hit a stride, they haven't necessarily done so.
Yesterday, baby. They are straightened out. Paul Pierce told us so. Series is over, he said.
Well, if Paul Pierce said it, then it's got to be true.
That's right, baby. He is playoff P. You're not disagreeing with that,
well,
are you?
The other guy sure ain't. Yeah.
That's it. We're done. Back to you.
Still to come on SportsCenter